Okay, I'm going to attempt in really horrible lighting to show how I do my eyebrows. So of course you start with a fresh clean face, and I'm just gonna put this here back. Now my eyebrows are bleached. I think that it's better when it's bleached because I can use a dark brown pencil and it not look too heavy and fake and too dark, and I like it a little bit light. I can show you guys how to do that if you like, but that's a little bit advanced. So it's been bleached a few weeks now, so it's not as light as it used to be, and it's very sparse. So you want to make sure that your eyebrows are neat. So I've taken a tweezer and just cleaned up around the edges for any stray hairs around there, and I pretty much know what shape that I want. Now my eyebrows grow very low down here, so I take most of that off because my eyes are small and I want this area to be opened up a little bit because I don't have a lot of bottom lid that shows. So it's all about knowing your face. So I also like my eyebrows to be short, so in terms of the length of each hair. So what I do is when I'm grooming, I brush up and I cut anything that's too long. I have a little eyebrow scissors, and then I brush down and I cut anything that's too long, and so that is what we're left with. So I know what shape that I usually use, and you're going to need a few things. So you're going to need an eyebrow brush and comb, and that's just for blending. A sharpener, because you want your sharpener to be nice, and you want your pencil or whatever you're using. You can use powder too. I do use powder sometimes, but this tutorial is about pencil. And so you want that to be nice and sharp so you can get clear edges. A spoolie, which is very, very important. Now I just took an old spoolie and put it at the bottom of a brush here. And you want some concealer, and I usually use concealer that is a shade darker than my skin tone, so it gives it the effect of freshly shaved eyebrows, because we're gonna clean it up under there, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm usually NC45 in MAC, so this concealer is the NC42, and I just have a little bit in a sample jar. And you're gonna need a nice small brush like that, so that you can get in there and sculpt your eyebrows and clean up the edges. Okay, so I make sure that my eyebrows are combed like this. I usually just comb them all up, and I'm using, so this is new, I've never used this before. This is an eyebrow pencil from Loreal. So it's L'Oreal Paris Superliner Brow Artist, and it's in Brunet. And like I said, I prefer mine to be a little bit darker. I don't think it's focusing. So one side is pencil and one side is brow gel, which helps to set the pencil or the powder and gives it something to grab onto. So right now my eyebrows don't have much of a shape, but I know the shape that I want. And the thing with your eyebrows is that it creates symmetry in your whole face. So if you leave the house and not do anything, your eyebrows definitely should be one of the things that you should do. So the symmetry in your face and with your eyebrows, I'll show you using this pencil. So you want the edge to be lined up with the edge of your nose, and you want, most times, doesn't have to be, but the edge to line up with the edge of your nose and your eye. So you don't want it to pass this point unless you're doing some kind of artistic look. And also the arch, the highest part, usually lines up with your iris. So it could be this way, or it could be a little bit slanted this way, which is what I do. And so it's balancing out your face and it's giving your face symmetry. Now you have to remember that your eyebrows are sisters. They're not twins, so they're just going to be a little bit different, and it drives me nuts because I could never get it the same. So this pencil is new, so it's pretty much sharpened. So what I do is I go from here, and I'm doing this strictly with the webcam. I don't have a mirror or anything. And I shape out the bottom piece. Then I shape out the top like that. But this pencil is quite soft and it just broke, so it's not as pointy. So I'm just going to give it a little sharp in there. So very softly, light, short strokes, and you shape out the bottom and the top. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will take the gel. You don't have to do this. I usually don't do this, but just because this has a gel, I'll do it. And you will slightly just brush it over. So what that's doing is giving it something to hold on to, so it doesn't come off or move as easily. So I'll fill that in, and then I'm going to put the brown liner over that very lightly, especially at the top here, because naturally that's supposed to be lighter than the rest of your eyes. Okay, so you go very lightly, you fill that in with short light strokes in the direction of the hair. If some's going up, that goes up too. Now you can see it's already taken shape in comparison to this one. I have more structure and I have more shape. Now I'm going to blend, so I'm going to take my spoolie and I'm going to blend that up and out, up and out, up and out, up and out. Now this is a technique that I use because I don't like to see blunt eyebrows just starting here, is I actually go out a little further and bring that out so that it fades and you don't have that blunt look that you see girls walking around with. Okay, so I'm going to blend, and a spoolie, if you don't have a spoolie, you can also use one of these to blend, but I like a spoolie better. So you blend up and out. Now I can't see very well, but you look for little spaces and you go ahead and you fill in, keeping that structure, but you don't want it to look liney. You always want it to look very natural, so that's why the spoolie gives you the effect of natural, and you just do it up and out. Okay, so then I'm going to take, now this looks pretty okay, but to give it that fresh cutting look, that look like everything is sharp, I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to dip some concealer into there, wipe off the excess, and I'm going to take that concealer and I'm going to further line up the edges like that. And then if you make any mistakes here, this is where this concealer comes in, because sometimes I like my eyebrows to not have that much wing, so sometimes if I'm in that kind of mood, I will use the concealer to cut off any excess and to really give it the shape that I want. So voila, and you blend that down and out, and I like to use my fingers to do the rest. So I am going to, and it looks really weird with this lighting, but I'm just gonna do it like that. So the key here is to blend, and you can always go back in and sharpen that up with your pencil, but I like the edges to be very well defined. So it's all about just blending and smoothing. So now I have a shape of what I want, and then once I put my foundation and stuff on, my eyeshadow, that will blend in nicely. So some people like to put on the top, some people use a lighter color, and some people would use a regular color, like the color that is not their skin, that is their skin tone. I just, whatever's left on the brush, I just gently put it on there. And as you can see, we have one eyebrow that's done, one eyebrow that's not. So that is the difference there. And there's a lot of sunlight coming in here. Okay, so I don't know if this makes a difference or not, but I think when I bend down you see it better, right? So one's not done, one's done. And so once you have both of them done, you could kind of go back and try to, you'll actually see where the symmetry is a little bit off, and you can go back and do everything. So I'm going to do the other eye, but my pencil fell down. Just have to get that. Okay. So this is the first time I'm using this pencil, and it's really soft, so that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. And this is the shape that I want. Okay, so that side is done. I'm gonna blend up and out some more, and then I'm going to move on to the other side, making sure my pencil point is nice and sharp. So I'll give it a little sharpen again, and there's a lot of light here. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom very lightly, give it the arch that I want, shape that arch out, then I'm gonna go over the top and do the same thing. So right, then I have my gel. Going to fill that in a little bit, same way, very lightly. Then I'm going to go ahead and do light short strokes in the direction of the hair and fill in the rest. Like so. Then my spoolie comes into play, and I'm going to go up and out, up and out, up and out, blend that, and then I'm going to bring it out because I want it to be at least here, and I want it to be lighter than the rest. So I'm pulling that color out with the spoolie and blending at the same time, and then I'm blending up and out. So that looks all well and fine. And just to sharpen it up a bit, the lighting is really bad. So that's that side, and that's that side. I'm going to take the concealer again, and I'm just going to sharpen the edges and make that. You see what I did there? I cut that piece off, and I'm sculpting it into the shape that I want. So it doesn't matter really if it's a little bit messy when you do it. Okay, there we go. Pulling that down, and then you just take your fingers and you blend. Now, sometimes what I like to do is take a little bit of that concealer and just put it through the top here so it's a little bit lighter, to give that effect of a more natural brow. And then I'll always, of course, take the spoolie and do it like that. So the key is the spoolie for this technique anyways. I have different things that I do, because sometimes I use brow like shadow as well with pencil, but this is just a very simple tutorial. So there you go, I have it, and then I usually just look in the mirror and see what needs to be sharpened up. I look at them and I go, okay, they look this, and I don't really like it to look exactly to the same, because I feel like that look is very artificial, and unless I'm going for like a doll-like look, it's not really necessary. I like makeup to look more natural than, you know, magazine-y, too perfect. So there we go. Now if I didn't want all that tail, I could always cut that tail off with my concealer and maybe draw some more up over here. So there's a lot of things that you could do once you start playing with that. Now, so I'm going to try and get rid of some of this light and show you how it looks. There you go. And what a difference that makes now. Okay? And that is my tutorial. Sorry, the lighting sucks. I will try and use my other camera and see how that comes out, but this is it for now. Thanks for the encouragement, guys. Thanks for asking me to show you guys this. I have a lot of time on my hands and I don't mind doing this. Once I get a hold of a good lighting space and the editing, I could probably do more videos. Bye.